Hello everyone, today just thought I'd have a random look at a passage of the Lorneography. I've done 3 parts of the grooming tactics sessions, which have seemed to have gone down quite well, but I'm not too far how much more I can go with those, because we've pretty much got to the point where he's got her in the bag, or he thinks he has. There might be room for one more. But today I just thought I'd have a random look at a day and see where it takes us. So at the moment we're on the 26th of September, as you can see here, which is 9 days after he's first made contact with her. So at this point he's already confessed his undying love to her, as you can see at the top there. You know, night, love you. He's getting it back off her. So at this point, he's 9 days into talking to a 13-year-old girl, and they're telling each other that they love each other. One of the most I don't do this primarily to, you know, it's not. This isn't. I don't make these videos or look at Lorne to try and, you know, annihilate someone, to try and, some of it is fun, making fun of someone, but I find it just incredibly fascinating how someone like Lorne can get caught up in the situation that he did. It's something that has interested me for fucking years, and I mean years. It was only a year ago when I found out there was a whole group of people that were fascinated by Lorne, and that kind of that made me feel a bit more grounded, because I realised I wasn't alone. There was always something that drew me back to Lorne when I was watching reruns of the programmes. He was the one that I always rewatched for whatever, and then I think one day, randomly, I typed in Lorne Armstrong on YouTube, and I think it was Sharman's video that came up. I think it was the Kayla and Me video where he sings a song and he's in prison, and I watched it, and at that point there were certain things that I didn't know about. He was talking about chicken pie and stuff. I'd not read the Holy Lorneography in full. I didn't even know it was called the Holy Lorneography at that point. So I got into these videos, and then I realised that there was so many people that thought the same as I did. How did a person get himself so engrossed in this situation? And then the more I started digging, the more information came out. There was the phone calls. I'd already listened to him singing, because it was on the Perverted Justice website when you could actually listen to the recordings. I'd already heard what Kayla's voice sounded like, and it was just a fascinating scenario. With the other predators, I can't think of any. I've read a few of the chat logs, but I can't think of any where a man in Lorne's position, or a man of Lorne's age, got himself so embedded in a situation where he convinced himself that he loved her, where he stayed to talk to Chris, where the chat log was so wrong, and then more and more information started coming out, and it gets you even more interested. And then over the last few months it's gone nuts, hasn't it? There's all this stuff, you know. I would never have thought that we would have had a genuine interview with Lorne. Well, it wasn't a genuine interview, but, you know, they're actually talking to him. It was a genuine interview in that it was Lorne that they were talking to. You know, in the hour-long interview, like I've already said in one of my videos, he talked nothing but nonsense. Sorry, just getting a drink of tea there. At work shortly, but anyway. Yeah, so it's still to this day, I've made quite a lot of videos. I really thank so much for the people that are watching them. I've had nothing but positive comments, and all I'm doing is just giving my opinion about it, and, you know, people seem to like my take on things. But even to this day, after all the information we've had, after we've heard Lorne, after we've gone over the lawsuits, after we've heard the phone calls, after we've analysed the chat log in such specific detail, after we've just every single thing, it still fascinates me how someone can get into a life situation where they can get so embedded into that scenario right here that he found himself in. It just boggles the mind. If you look at it from like a point of, if you're trying to calculate the chances of this happening to someone, you're talking in the trillions. The amount of coincidences that come together to allow this to happen is unbelievable. What are the chances that Lorne would have gone online at that point on that day looking for a 13-year-old girl? There happened to be a decoy there. There happened to be Dateline. He happened to go on TV. It's astronomical. I don't want to go into it too much, but I'm quite into like philosophy, spirituality, things like that, and I'm a great believer that everything happens for a reason. And I believe with Lorne, all this happened because he's so delusional. All this happened to him to try and snap him out of the crazy mind structures that he created for himself. But initially, rather than doing that, it made him even more deluded. Because rather than take a step back and look at him and accept his situation, he sort of focused all of his anger, if you will, at NBC and tried the ridiculous lawsuits. And it weren't so long ago he said to Ember on a phone call, it takes people like you to realise why I'm still fighting. What on earth was he fighting for? What on earth was he fighting for? I just don't understand. The only conceivable way I could think that anybody could think that we're done to is because there wasn't a real person there. But the fact remains, he's committed quite a serious offence. If it was a real girl, he would have done ridiculous things to her. And like I've said, after everything that we've got, all the information, it still fascinates me. And I think one major point that maybe you kind of forget with everything that we've got is we had a guy talking for a full month about, and he opened up quite a lot to Kaylee because he thought he was talking to a genuine girl, a real person, and he convinced, you know, in Lorne Armstrong world, he had feelings for her. He had feelings for an imaginary character, which is crazy, and that's how fictitious his reality was at that time. People don't, and I've seen comments, just to sort of address it, I've seen comments from people that say people like me are going too deep into this, but people like Sherman do the fun videos, which is fantastic. I know Nathaniel did his videos where he's just laughing at him and stuff like that. That's fine. I prefer to look at it from an interesting point of view. I still have a bit of a laugh, but what leads someone to be in that situation? I'm sure I'm not the only one that finds it fascinating. So my idea is to sort of go into it a little bit deeper. Because what you got to remember, I'm not sticking up for Lorne here, right? And I might get dissed for this. No person, as a little lad or a little girl, at that point when they're 2 and 3 year old, no little lad or girl wants to be evil when they're older. It's not something that can happen. Now, there's many things that can happen to someone during their life that can. People make bad choices. Now, Lorne deserved to be punished for what he did, and until he admits 100% what he did, he still does. But you don't have to have sympathy for the guy. He doesn't need sympathy. But what I'm trying to say is, it's astounding the life choices that you can make that can lead you to this. Lorne has obviously had a lot of failures in his life. Now, what he's supposed to do from failures is learn and move on, but he never did. He never accepted responsibility. Durango Manga was a perfect example, and that's another reason why we find all this so fascinating. We had another story about how he wronged someone else. I mean, what could be worse than robbing an old couple out of money and then one of the people dying? That could have been a result of the stress that Lorne caused. You can't write shit like this. It's fucking weird how all this has happened. So like I said, we had all this information from Lorne's life, didn't we? A month of him opening up, a month of him telling details, little bits about his family, little bits about what had happened to him in his past. We got to know the kind of person he was. He made ridiculous sexual comments. He made stupid... It was just like watching a little child run loose, like a 14-year-old kid running loose in a soft porn film. It's just absolutely beyond comprehension, and that's why even to this day I still find it fascinating. I still find it interesting. I still find it enjoyable making these videos. Each time I read the Lorneography, the chat log here, I find something new and a different way of looking at it, and learn more. You learn more about Lorne, and you learn more about the mistakes people can make. Lorne couldn't have fucked up any more. Is it possible for a person to fuck up any more than he did at this point? That point when he got busted, was it possible for a person to fuck up as much? You know, he fucked up to the point where he's obviously been a ridiculous failure with women. We had the Amanda James thing, which we'd only just found out about. That went tits up for him. He'd obviously had no action up until that point. And, you know, so what does he decide to do? He decides to, rather than do the hard thing would have been for him to face up to his situation and say, you know what, I'm shit with women, I need to do something about it. That's what a lot of people would do. Well, maybe not a lot of people. But what he decided to do was just do the ridiculously opposite thing of just totally facing away from that, refusing to accept it, and decide to do this. Try and chat up a 13-year-old girl. I believe that the reason he's interested in people this age is because he never had any kind of female interaction or girlfriends throughout his teenage years and early into adult life. I don't think he had any kind of... I don't think he kissed many people, if any. I definitely don't think he had sex. So it's kind of like he's trying to live the life that the youth that he never had. I think that's one reason, one of the reasons why he's in this situation. It does explain a lot. And the thing is, Lorne had choices. Just because that's happened to you, you don't have to fucking fall into this trap. You don't have to do anything like this. There's many people throughout life that have, through the teenage years or early adult, were crap with women for whatever reason. They might have lacked confidence. They might have, it might have been a geographical reason. So many reasons why it wouldn't have happened. But very few people go to the length here of doing what he tried to do. So he stepped back, he decided to do this, he got caught up in it, he tried to have sex with a girl nearly over 20 years younger than him, young enough to be his daughter. Not only did he fail to do that, it ended up being an unreal person, and he got exposed on national TV and sent to prison for 5 years. It's unbelievable. If that had happened over here, he'd have probably got a slap on the wrist at court. In fact, he probably would have never made court. Some of the laws in the UK are fucking ridiculous. There'd have never been a sting operation like this in the UK anyway. But to find himself in that situation, you would think that it would snap any kind of ego that he had, and any kind of grip, any kind of false reality that it held. You'd think it would break away if that happened, but it made him even more crazy. Don't know what's going through his head now. Sorry, I dropped the microphone. Sorry, guys. I don't know what's going through his head now, but it weren't that long ago when he was just as... I mean, that interview just made you realise that he's a ticking time bomb. You know, for someone to have such a lack of reality within their lives is unbelievable. And he still did. He still blamed everybody else. Didn't think he'd done anything wrong. Convinced himself of his own ridiculous lies. And that's dangerous. So yeah, I mean, that's why I find him so interesting. But let's just have a quick look at this random passage. So here we are in the morning. It's 8 minutes past 9. I wish you had my baby this morning. And then again at 20 past 10, so that's just over an hour later. God, I miss my precious princess. Miss you, not home yet. I'm assuming that's all Lorne. And then Caleb finally comes online quite a lot later, so he must have gone to work at that point, Lorne, at 20 past 10. So here we are quite a lot later. Kayla comes online at 26 minutes past 10, and then Lorne jumps on at 10. Who are you talking to? You and Jess. Okay, I'm going to want to make a pot of coffee and check my answering machine. I'd love to. I wonder if it was Durango Mango saying, "Where's my fucking money?" By the way, I love you, or I love you too. Back, baby. Yay, I missed you a lot today. I didn't even want to go to work because I wanted to stay at home and spend time with you. Spend time with you. You see, to get so caught up in just wanting to chat to someone online, he never even saw her. He never even saw, like, you know, Lorne had his webcam on so that she could see naked pictures of him. Or strut around naked. Obviously the decoy never had a webcam on because there wasn't a real person there. The person that was in the pictures. I missed you too. Did you think about me today? Stuff we was talking about last night. Oh, let me guess. Is he going to go into the sexual thing here? So tell me your thoughts that you had. Guess you're quite busy with Jess. Ah, right. So is it that she's not really replying? Lorne, 10:40:53. Tell me about the thoughts you had. So less than 2 is really over 2 minutes after, just less than 2 minutes after Lorne has been speaking, she finally comes back with So he's not getting anything back. He's getting pissed off at this point. Guess you're quite busy with Jess. No, oh my God, my dad came in. It's okay now. Oh, okay. Did you put my cam down? That was close. Okay, good. Okay, good. You'd think he'd be shitting it at that point, wouldn't you? Yeah, you need to pay attention, Precious. So he's bollocking her there, isn't he? He's actually having a go at her. I love you. I love you too. I want to know what about the thoughts you had today. See, this is part of his grooming process. Maybe the grooming videos weren't finished, but he's still trying to find out. He wants to know exactly what she's thinking about because he wants to know whether his tactics are working. He wants her to come back and say, "Oh, it was a bit strange today. I had these feelings about me and you lying naked together." That's what he wants her to come back with. He wants to know that his sexual grooming has worked. So let's see what she comes back with. Daddy came back in again. The decoy probably at this point may be talking to other people. But she's obviously busy. She's not giving Lorne her undivided attention because here we are. You know, it's quite long gaps here. 3 minutes. Lorne, what are you doing now? Talking to you. Going to tell me about the thoughts. He won't let it lie, will he? Is that the third time in like a 10-minute period? What thoughts have you had? What thoughts have you had? Yeah, I know. I just want to know what you thought of most. I don't know, like all of it. Are you anxious for it to happen? Yes, me too. What do you want to happen first? Oh, here we go. Oh my God. You see, Lorne's ideal sexual fantasy would have been for her to come back and say, I had sexual thoughts for the first time today. I want you to do this, to do that for the first time. But because he's not getting that off the decoy, because the decoy can't, he's now starting to tell her of his sexual fantasies. Him writing it to her and her reading it is the next best thing to her coming out with it. So at this point, he's going into very specific detail. First, I want to make out with you. Then, while I'm making out with you, I want to start feeling your boobs. Then, I want to take your shirt and bra. You see, that's a very immature thing. It's not generally something a male of that age would do. Then I want to start sucking on your nipples. Then I'm going to move my hands down to your pants or skirt, whatever you decide to wear, and then take them off. So you look at this. Don't stop. Then I'll have and look at what he's had back off her in the last 10-15 minutes. Fuck all. Very little. The only time that she's done more than one sentence is when she's explaining that her dad's coming in. So at this point, really, you could have Kayla's dad stood there for all Lorne knows. He's gone through a potentially dangerous experience where he could have got caught and found out because the dad nearly caught her. But yet he's still rattling in. Look at all this here. He starts off at 11 and 8 seconds and it goes on to 3 minutes. So it's just 3 minutes of him telling her what his sexual fantasies are. And then all he gets back is, wow, you gonna do all that? You want to do all that, Lorne? Yes, do you want to? Cool, yes. He's not getting anything, is he? Did you get excited reading all of that? Yeah, kinda. See, he's still not getting anything back. For obvious reasons, it's a decoy tactic. But still, he's still, all the times he's talking to her, and don't forget, this is just a random day I've selected. I've not chosen this day for any other reason. He's always trying to delve into a mind, which is obviously a grooming tactic, so that he knows he's not wasting his time, and he can try and adapt his tactics if it's not working. Or he can, yeah, like I said, he can quit if he's not getting anywhere. You know, which part did you like? Hard to decide. All of it. Which do you think will be your very favourite part? Well, I don't know, because I've never done most of it. Just kissing, hugging about it. Good. That's what I was hoping you were going to say. No, it wasn't. Do you think you'll like sucking on my penis? You see, he's gone from this 13-year-old girl saying what normal 13-year-old girls would say if they had a boyfriend, just kissing, hugging, to, do you think you'll enjoy sucking on my penis? Yeah. Do you think you'll like me? Ugh. Yeah, sounds neat. Do you think you'll like me sticking my penis in you? Out of the three, which one do you think sounds the best? You see, oh, it's unbelievable. You see, this is how much he was caught. He was sort of drawn into it. For him to sort of come out in that interview and say he forgot who he was talking to, and he very much played down the sexual content, it's absolutely ludicrous. Look at all this. It's all he's really interested in. This is, you know, I love you, precious, I love you more. No way, Lorne, now it's getting a bit... I was just going to say then, let's see how long it takes for him to get back on the sexual content. Did you rub your clit for me when you were laying in bed last night, like I asked you to? You see what I mean? It didn't take long, did it? Yeah, really, awesome. Still on about it here. Want to see my penis now? Okay. Was that good? You see, obviously, the idea of him exposing himself, he gets sexual gratification for it, but he wants her to have sexual feelings about him for the first time, and for it could possibly be for someone like Kayla and the character that Kayla comes across to be, it could make her fixated on him, and it could make her, what's the word I'm looking for, infatuated with him. That's what he's trying to do, and that proves everything that he's done is premeditated. It's a very clever, you could say it's a clever tactic. It's like he's read books on it. Well, not books, but he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing, let's just put it that way. I wish I had a naked picture of you. Oh my god, what? Well, I wouldn't want to take one. Why not? Because be embarrassed. Don't be embarrassed, precious. Everything about you is beautiful. Would you take one for me, please? No. Okay, we can wait until we're together, then I can take one of us together. Does that sound good? Cool, yeah. You see, all this sort of proves here how little awareness he had of his situation at this point, because of the ridiculous lack of responses from Kayla. Any normal person, I've been talking to sort of girls on dating websites in the past, and I've just quit because I'm like getting one sentence responses, not anything near like this long, you know, just a few minutes or something. And I'm thinking they're either a bit dull or they're just not that interested. You get one, you know, sentences, yeah, you okay? How was your day? Not bad. I'm thinking, oh fuck this, can't be bothered. But he's so caught up in it, he's so excited, and it's such a lack of interest in how she actually is and how she's feeling that he just doesn't cotton onto it whatsoever. And it makes it even more ridiculous that you could fall in love or think you fall in love with someone and not have a fucking clue as to what kind of person she is. I can't really... Is there any point where she actually says what kind of things she's into, what kind of music, what kind of films, interests, hobbies, what she likes at school? I mean, I've not read everything. I've not read the whole lot, but I can't remember any points. So here is talk about child pornography. You'll have to keep that one of you extremely well hidden on your computer though. I'll send it to your Gmail so that you can keep it hidden in there. Okay. What's he talking about there? I want one of you and me with clothes on too so I can look at it. Oh, right, okay. Are you missing my penis? Oh my god. Wish you were here. I wish you were. You see, that the decoys there is just trying to keep him hooked. She knows that if all she has to do with Lorne is come out with things like that. Wish you were here. Sad face, and that'll keep him going for fucking ages. You know, it's like she's adding fuel to the fire, and she just keeps throwing it on every couple of seconds. You know, every few minutes, and Lorne goes up. Anyway, I think we'll quit there now. I've had a bit of a ramp. I'm sorry if it got too deep at some points, but I just wanted to have just a quick look at a random passage. I wasn't expecting to sort of go off about the whole case of Lorne and why I find it interesting. But I hope you find it insightful, guys. I can't ask for anything more than people listening to this, and really thank you so much. And if anybody, you know, if you enjoyed listening to this, just click like, please. That'd be great. And cheers. Thank you very much. Speak to you soon.